cracking down on China. Vice President Mike Pence gearing up to address the Trump administration's policies toward China in his keynote remarks at the Hudson Institute today. According to excerpts from that speech, Pence plans to reprimand Beijing for election meddling and aggressive behavior in the South China Sea and demonstrate how President Trump's rhetoric is working. Joining us right now is Weekly Standard Deputy Editor Kelly Jane Torrance. Kelly, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria.
So
good to be here.
We know that we just had an incident in the South China Sea with our Navy vessels. How effective have the administration's policies been on China so far?
Yeah, I think we're starting to see how effective they are by actions like that. I mean, when the Chinese come within 40 yards of a U.S. destroyer, and the U.S. destroyer had to actually brake and stop itself from hitting the Chinese vessel. You know, the Chinese are upset and worried about something. And, you know, looking at what Pence is going to be saying today, he really he's thrown almost everything in. The only thing I haven't heard much about is human rights in China. But other than that, he really has a great list of Chinese aggression, Chinese malign behavior, and just terrible tactics that the Chinese are using that doesn't help Americans or their own people.
Yeah, one issue is China is dominating the South China Sea and using its economic power, Pete, and applying it to the military complex.
Absolutely. And I guess I would ask that, do you feel like there's a chance that the advances they've made militarily and in the South China Sea, could those be rolled back? Or are they going to continue to incrementally push out the sphere of influence they've had?
Well, the question is, will the United States push back? Because only the United States has the power.
And what does that look like? Yeah, we're the only ones that have the power, but what does pushing back against China look like militarily?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. And, you know, you've got to be careful because you don't want to inflame tensions so much that you get to serious military action. But, you know, I think calling out what China did in this latest incident is a great thing. I also think it's great that Mike Pence, for example, is going to be calling out the fact that China is influenced and managed to convince 3 Latin American countries to stop recognizing Taiwan and to come on China's side with that. I mean, that's a big part of tension in the region, and China has been pushing countries to stop recognizing Taiwan. And I think the fact that Pence is going to be calling them out for that is also part of getting this region in a bit more of a stable environment. But one thing what I think is great is administrations for years, and not just in America, Canada too, other countries, they've put trade with China at the top of their list, and they're willing to pull back on things like military, like human rights, because they're worried about losing money in trade with China. Well, that's one thing the Trump administration is doing very differently from other administrations, and I think using that economic pressure to also yield military pressure is working, as we're seeing already. And I think it's really great that the Trump administration, I mean, I'm not a big fan of tariffs, but at the same time, if you have a country that is doing such awful things to its own people, trying to torture its own people, and trying to, become the hegemon of the region, which, Japan, Korea, South Korea, other countries are very worried about, you need to say, well, what's more important, making money or dealing with this bad behavior?
So, Kelly, it's Mike Murphy. I agree with you. I don't think any of us want to know whose military is bigger, ours or China's, or stronger. But I think that the tariffs in this case, and really the pushback on regulations where China was taking IP from U.S. companies doing business in China, I think that's putting a lot more pressure on China right now from an economic standpoint than they really want to divulge. So I think as long as we can keep the economic pressure on them, I think that really helps us in a broad sense or even in a military sense.
Yeah, and so if you could, Kelly, talk about the timing, though, of this Mike Pence announcement with, we are in the middle of negotiating tariffs with China right now. And, Trump is out there threatening to put tariffs on the final $267 billion.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now, isn't there, Maria? And it's not just the tariffs that we're talking about with China right now. Of course, as we know, Mike Pompeo is going to be going to Pyongyang, North Korea this weekend. Well, after that, he's going to Beijing on Monday. And, of course, he'll plan to brief Chinese officials on what happened with his meeting with Kim Jong-un. So, you've got the United States putting pressure on China with, via the tariffs and everything. But it's also, again, everything's connected, economics, politics, everything. And so the United States is also trying to get China to come on board and sanction North Korea and, kind of pressure it into getting rid of its nuclear weapons and becoming a little bit better of a less of a rogue actor. And so you've got so much going on. And when you're dealing with one of the biggest economies of the world, that's the best way you can pressure. I mean, we're talking about the military, and that's important, of course. But, money talks, and especially to Chinese leaders.
Yeah.
So,
well, this is going to go on a long time. And let's not forget, we are dealing with a dictator for life. So, China is going to continue doing what it's doing. We'll see how effective the Trump administration can be. The first time we've actually seen a president push back on this kind of behavior.